Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku, and we also had Barbara Gordon. These two have grown closer since they've met at therapy or group sessions. Now, Deku, he has made an impact on Barbara. She's heard about some of the things that he's been through. And Deku, he's just barely tweaking some details about him. And they're not even the important bits. Barbara knows Deku has been drugged by doctors and beaten by his father and his friends, the Joker and Batman's villains. But Barbara doesn't know a lot. She doesn't know Izuku's real name. She knows his past, and he knows hers. The two went on a date, and Barbara was a bit more surprised. This guy and her, they get along good, but she feels like she messed up last night. That being what she thought in the morning. Since she got a little bit too tipsy, and Deku gave her a ride back. Him bugging her computer, and at least knowing the code to her safe house. And Barbara, yeah. The next morning, it was Tim, I believe I said, who came to her with the tape about the Joker being tortured by the Red Hood. And we do actually have about a month later, where the Red Hood, he's still been torturing Joker. He's been moving locations. He has been making sure Batman, he finds the previous one when he wants him to. And Bruce, he's having a bit of a problem. They're trying to track down the Red Hood, figure out where he's been, but in all this time, people, they're not really too sure. They've heard of the Red Hood, but seeing him and being able to tell the tale, that's a different story. Some people, they think he's a myth. I mean, they heard at one point the Joker could have been that guy, right? And others, they're not really too sure. If this is the same guy, why is he after Joker? But that's all confusing. And Batman, he's hit of a bit of a moral conundrum. The Joker tortures and kills for chaos. This guy, he goes after criminals and thugs. He doesn't like either one. It involves murder. But these two are currently both busy. Joker is being tortured. And the Red Hood, he is getting his quote unquote revenge. And Batman has a question about all that. Is he really right to stop it? I mean, the Joker deserves every ounce of torture the Red Hood can throw at him, without the penalty of death. But all that, the Red Hood is going to kill him one day, right? But he's been leaving him behind a string. It's all leading to something. It's just a matter of the pattern, though. Batman looking up, and he does go to see a few things. He sees a number of locations, all of which they are spaced evenly. They're made evenly. And he's a bit concerned by that. Because if he's correct, there's one location in the center of all of this. Batman's not going to write down the lines on a piece of paper before he does go start tracing them out. And then there actually is where Batman, he does go to turn in his chair. Him going to stand up and look at everybody. As you do have Tim, who's still got the cast on his arm because he was shot. And then you actually do have Grayson, who's dressed as Nightwing. And then you do actually have, oh god, is it Kate Kane? Jesus, I really don't know a lot about her character. Now, I need to look into her a bit more for this. Anyways, with that mental note, and that being said, let's skip over that. Right now, the three, they all do so and stand there. And Batman, he does try to tell Tim about what he's doing. His skills are good, but he wants him to stay here and run comms. He'd ask Barbara to do it, but this is a very sensitive matter, and he doesn't want her dealing with the Joker ever again. He can give her that. Aside from the fact that he does pay her a lot to live in that tower. And there actually is where Deku, he is somewhat setting up shop. And Joker, he does get someone look up a bit more dazed and confused. Him, someone going to try and lick his lips because they're dry. But there actually is where his tongue does go past where his toothy smile once was. And Deku, he actually is going to walk over. Him going to kick over the chair, and the clown does actually go to get fully conscious. Him smashing against the ground and smelling the burnt out. Him looking around. House. It really took him all back here. Oh boy. This place still smells like the fire. That being what Joker does think. And Deku, he does gonna walk over. Him going to bend down and tell Joker. Okay, they're gonna make this quite simple. Deku actually gonna open the mask. And Joker is seeing Deku's face. He sees the look in his eyes. And honestly, he's a proud papa. He sees the look of anger, the rage, and he can see it on Deku's face. As we do actually have Deku's point of view. Deku holding the gun directly up to the Joker's temple. Him going to tell him. He's going to make this easy for Joker. Lay there and stay quiet. When he gets him up on his feet, then that's when the party really does begin. Because he's going to put a bullet in his head, or Batman is going to kill him. And that does say quite a bit, doesn't it? And Deku, he does someone going to glare down at the Joker, hearing the voices start to creep in. Except this time they creep in a bit too fast, a bit too far. He knows how many steps they'll take, but then they take those two extra. They take a third, and Deku starts to hear them a bit more intensely. He hears them get louder and louder. Before Joker is going to see it on his face, the boy looks like he just ate something bad. Tastes something sour, awful, and Joker here's what to watch. Deku actually going to turn around and start blasting the gun around, telling them to just all shut the fuck up, because he's trying to think. And Joker is going to turn and look around, him confused. Did he knock something out of this boy's head? I mean, the brain clearly fell out, because cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, Joker, that's on his mind. And he actually is going to see Deku take a breath as he's panting heavily, before he does going to look back down towards the clown. And whenever he does go to hear a sound, he does want to straighten out. And then there is where his focus does become laser sharp. Him going to somewhat turn sideways and see Batman, as there is Dick Grayson and the Batwoman. Him staring at the three. Before Deku, he does someone going to step forwards, asking Batman where his Robins are, because he only does see the one. He doesn't see the second one. I mean, he had two, right? And Batman does someone going to step forwards, silently. Deku going to step backwards and going to throw his right arm out, grabbing the chair, pulling it back up before someone going to lean in and bring a knife up to the Joker's throat, telling Batman, Bruce isn't taking another step. And everybody, they do go to fall silent hearing that. However, Kate, she's a bit more confused. This guy knows who he told the Joker, didn't he? Fuck. That's going to compromise them. That being on her mind. As Deku, he actually is someone going to turn his head to the Joker. Before Joker, he does so going to smile. And everybody, they do get to see the toothless grin of the man. And Deku, he does go to express. Him going to at least stand back up and bring the gun to the back of Joker's head, telling Batman he wants him to do it. He wants him to do it. Him going to toss over a gun. And Deku, he does hear the voices in his head again, telling Batman he wants him to pick that gun up and shoot him. Come on. Break his code. Break his philosophy. Whenever he does it the first time, it's special. You know, I mean, you always remember your first. And there actually is where Batman, he does look down at the weapon before he does go look up. And he does get to say the name, which does somewhat make Deku freeze a little bit, because Batman, apparently he never gave up hope. Izuku. And Deku does somewhat go look at Batman. the mask not showing any expression, but Deku does somewhat narrow his eyes. And Bruce, he does somewhat notice the micro expressions Deku does make with his body. The way his foot suddenly shifts, the way his leg slightly moved, the way his grip tightened on the gun. He knows it might be Izuku. But if he's alive, that means the League of Assassins is involved. And that also means Ra's al Ghul trained his dead son. That also means Deku, he's encountered a few other people. If his kit is similar to his own, but modified, that means he's met Deathstroke and Lady Shiva. Bruce making those assumptions. I just swallowed my own tongue there. Now, Bruce, he does somewhat going to at least step forwards, going to drop the gun, telling Izuku to stand down, because they can still do this. They can still have time, and he doesn't have to do it. But Deku does stare at Batman. Before Deku, he does get a turn. Him going to press a button on his helmet. And Bruce is going to watch Deku bring up his hand and pull off the mask. Before, he does just go to show Deku, or Bruce, the bottom of his face. Before, Bruce, he does get to hear Deku say the words. He left him to die. He left him with this fucking clown. Deku still with the top part of his face covered. What he did to him. 3 years in Arkham. 3 years he waited. No one ever came. Does he want to know what they did to him in Arkham? He can give him the full list. I mean, what was it Joker said? Deku's not going to lean forwards. What was it again? One bad day? He can tell him. He kept track of the days. However, there wasn't until the Joker decided to beat him to the point where his eye nearly bulged out of his skull. That day's still hazy to him. But then there's also the Inferno. Deku turning to Bruce. Before telling him, does he want to know how many days he spent in the Joker's care? How many days? Because he kept track. Deku's not going to lean backwards. Before he does going to pull the trigger and blow Joker's head off. And right now, Joker, he does just want to slump forwards in his chair. As Bruce, he actually does going to step forwards, throwing out a batarang, as so does Kate and Nightwing. And Deku, he does going to somewhat flip backwards and out of the way. Him going to flip and dodge with his head. It bouncing off of his helmet as Deku does feel a batarang slice him directly in the leg. It smashing down to the ground as Deku is going to feel the other two fly past him. Bruce threw a second batarang, and he waited until he started to dodge to do it. Deku turning around and going to jump out of a window as he does go start running. Before Bruce, he does start to hear the ticking. And he knows what that does mean. As the Bat family, they do go to run. And there is where Batman, he does go rushing forwards and grabbing onto the batarang. Before he does a leap through the broken window and the building explodes behind him. Bruce going to roll onto the ground as his cape, it did protect him from the Inferno at his back. Now, Bruce is going to feel that heat later. And a cold shower, it will definitely help him. Along with probably at least 32 ice packs. And Bruce, he does want to hold it up. Thinking about what to do. He thinks about what to really even say. He found it. He has a sample. And that does concern him. Bruce feels it in his gut. He's trying to hold down that pit in his stomach. What Izuku said. Arkham. He checked Arkham. He checked everywhere. He did what he could. He even asked Big Blue in Metropolis for a hand. But what happened there? Even he couldn't find him. He had to admit, he did what he could, but his senses, they're limited. And that did say something. Even Clark couldn't find Izuku Midoriya. But Bruce, he's concerned. He has Deku's blood type on file. I mean, He had to start keeping extra bags of it because Deku got injured a lot. And going to a hospital, yeah, too much paparazzi. Now, Deku, he does have his blood tested in the system that Bruce has. And Bruce, he sits there the entire time. Before there is where Deku, he does get to pop up as a positive match for the Red Hood's blood. And we do actually have Alfred. Alfred was cleaning up, and there was where he was dusting next to some fine china, his hand going off to the right as he looked at the screen. He was waiting for it, and there was where it reached 100%. Alfred going to turn his hand to the right as he just does go to knock over the expensive tea set. And Bruce, he does go to stare up at the screen as he feels rage. He feels anger. Ra's al Ghul, he brought his son, I'm going to stand up, back from the dead. And he's pissed off. Batman going to turn and make his way over to the Batjet. Before he does get inside and release the magnetic mechanism. Try saying that 3 times fast. Magnetism. Mechanism. I fucked it up already. Jesus. Okay. That's hard to say. Now, the mechanism does go to unmagnetize. The plane going to drop down as the thrusters on the bottom of it do go to start firing. Them keeping it from hitting the water below as they start to adjust. The ones on the back beginning to blast off. And Bruce, he makes his way out of the Batcave as he does start to follow a tunnel which would lead him out to sea, where he does start to fly up into the air. Now, that is where Bruce will leave him. He is going on a trip to see an old, stubborn bastard. We do actually have Deku. Deku, he got back to his apartment. The nice one. Not the one he kept the Joker in. That old, moldy place. Here, though. Such a nice lemony scent. Interesting. I'm going to think that. As he does somewhat go to lay in his bed. He did it. He got closure. His head's silent for once. No more screaming. No more laughing. He doesn't know what to do. He just feels this sense of calm. But his body. That being what Deku just think about. The Joker can still come back from the dead, just like he did. No. The blaze incinerated him. There's no way he can come back. That isn't possible. Okay. You're fine. Now, Deku, he does want to hear a voice, as he does start to hear a bit of a laughing. Him turning his head and going to look at a mirror. Before he does go to see himself. And then he does go to see the Red Hood. The man sitting there across from him. Him going to hold up the gun to his head. And Deku is going to watch it. He watches the Joker grin begin to start cracking into the mask. It going to open it up. Before it does start to reveal the yellow teeth. And then the maniacal cackling, it does get louder and louder. And that mouth starts to stretch out more and more and more. Before it does start to turn into a giant maw. And Deku, he does start staring at it with horror. Before it does start to pounce on him, and Deku does jump up awake. Him screaming, as there is where he does someone could grab at his chest and look around. And it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Jesus. Okay. Him someone turning. And I'm gonna grab out to his phone. Checking the time. Okay. Him gonna get up. Deku's gonna wince, feeling the pain in his leg. And then there is where he does hear a voice. Him gonna turn, as he does gonna pull out the gun from under his pillow. And he does gonna bring it up. before hearing a voice. My, isn't that interesting? Deku turning to see Talia, who does get step out from the shadows. I do have to say, her going to actually step forward towards his bed and going to sit down. He's peaceful when he slept, but that dream, how often does he have it? I don't have a dream. You do. It's the Lazarus madness making its way out of your psyche. And the best way of saying it, it's out of conscious thought. But your nightmares will be more vivid. At least for the next month. Call it a withdrawal effect. Or the pit having its magic release. The goose staring at Talia. Yeah, magic. Sure. Well, if you asked him this question years ago, he would have said no. The goose just thinking that. And Talia, she also going to start making her way onto the bed, her somewhat sitting at the edge of it. Before Deku, he does go look at the time, and Talia does try to express to him. They do have time. They do have much to discuss, much to do. And there's where Talia, someone just going to hover over Deku. And Deku, he does going to stare at Talia, who does going to lean back and express. She does want to say, though, doesn't he want to smile? Deku staring up at her. And there is actually where Deku, he does somewhat get tense up again. Before trying to think, Talia doesn't grin like that. Shit! This is where Deku does jump up again. And he does try to think, what the fuck was that? Now, Deku is confused. He has vague glimpses and flashes. He remembers himself and then... What was Talia doing there? Did he have that dream again? That being on Deku's mind. And there is where Deku, he does want to stand up. Him going to stretch before actually going to feel that real pain in his leg. It being a bit more sharp than dull. And there is where Deku does going to stand up and start to walk around his apartment. Before he does go to put on something to wear and run out of the building. He's going to be working out. And if he's already up at this time, he's going to make sure he gets a full day in. So, he's going to be jogging for the next hour. Maybe when he comes back, he'll go to the gym. Or, well, he'll just do his routines here. That being on Nick's mind. And we do actually have Batman. Batman? He is trying to figure all this out. But so is Nightwing. He goes through a few things, and he even tries to look in Batman's computer about records of the second Robin. But all he finds is one thing. All he finds is a picture, an alias, and information. And that's where it's a bit more tricky. Because that kid looks like he's 9. Not him, so I'm going to press a button. Before it just gets changed to Deku, around the age of 13, 14, peak crime fighting days for Batman and Robin. And I almost hold my tongue again. And Dick, he's confused. He sees that his face. What do he look like today? That's Nightwing's question. He only saw the lower half. And in some of that stuff, Bruce, he apparently hides. The stuff that he's, well, not keeping on the public server. It's on his private one. But hacking that's definitely going to be... What are you doing, Grayson? This is where Tim is going to walk up. And Dick, he does want to break his focus. Nothing. What are you doing on the computer, Grayson? Tim's going to look down on the floor. Before we're going to tell him. He should know. Batman kinda, prevents a lot of that stuff from being seen. What are you talking about? Private information? What do you think I'm talking about? Nothing, Tim. Listen, do you know how to get onto the private server? I need to get a good look at this guy's face. Okay, but why? Are you trying to look into Izuku Midoriya, the second Robin? How do you know his full name? Um, Calms earlier, dipshit. Also, because I've looked into him. So you can hack onto the private server, but you won't help me whenever I need help for college. Is that really important right now? No, no, it isn't. Listen, I need help. So, what do I do? Tim, going to tell, well, Dick. First, stand up. He's in his chair. And Dick, he doesn't want to stand up. Tim going to sit down and bring up both of his hands. Him trying to be careful because his arm, it still does feel painful, even a month after the shot went through it. And Tim just started at least to press a few buttons. You see, what you gotta do here is you gotta be careful with this. You gotta go over here and be careful with this. You have to come over here and enter this stream of code right here. It's just so simple. You just gotta. I'm gonna press on the keyboard. And Dick, he's trying his best to keep up. But Tim, he's in a different ballpark. I mean, shit, this guy, he works fast. Go with computers. Got it. That being on Grayson's mind, as Tim does gonna start opening a few files. And Dick, he does get a good look. He sees this file, and it's large. And there actually is where Tim is going to open it, expressing to Grayson. Yeah, looking from the information there, he's going to say this to him. He's pretty sure that's over 200 hours of footage. That being where Dick, he does not feel his face go white. 10? No. Wait. That's almost 10 days, right? Well, that's on this file. I think there's another one, but there's also some stuff cut out because some torture sessions they skip over a few scars I've seen. So, 3 years. Yeah. We're seeing some of the bad he did. Not the worst of it. It makes you think, though. Yeah, it does. This guy, he used to be us. Yeah. So, you've met him before, though, right? That's complicated. We've met, but we didn't have time for a conversation. How is that possible? Um, Bruce talked to me before, and I've talked to him, but we've never really face to face, you know? I've seen him before, but it's been years since then. Right, right. It just sounds like you're not good with faces, Grayson. I'm not, alright? Is that what you want me to admit? Yep, all I wanted. Then I'm gonna stand up and express. By the way, he worked a bit fast and loose. So Grayson's gonna have to deal with Batman. Tim gonna make his way back upstairs. And Grayson, yeah, he doesn't like what that meant. Him's not gonna sit down. And there is a register to at least try and close all of this out. Him trying to at least backspace, okay, so you gotta press. Did he press over here? Okay, what did he just set off? Now, Tim doesn't try to wait. And there actually is the Batmobile, which right now, it does have the alarm begin to blare. And Bruce Wayne, his car started going off out of nowhere. Him gonna turn back and think. Him gonna press a button on his belts. As the vehicle does come running up and smashing directly into Bane. And Bane doesn't want to lay out on the ground. Batman gonna walk over and pull the tube off the back of his head. Before gonna turn back to the car. Him going to step inside, and the door just going to close. Him at least going to press whatever went off. And the button he pressed is connected to the back computer. Grayson. The screen on the screen is going to open up. And Dick, he basically just saw a ghost. Since he wasn't expecting Bruce to pop up in front of him. And Dick, yeah. he does something to stare at Bruce. And Bruce, he does try to tell him, whatever he's doing, stop. Okay, Bruce, I'm trying to figure out everything, but you're hiding this from us. That's what you think I'm doing? Yes. Dick, it's complicated. Listen, I will explain everything to you. In time. I'll explain everything to all of you. We'll get everyone together and talk. But if you try to invade my private files, that will be an issue. There is a lot of things in that computer you are not meant to see. And Bruce, he doesn't leave it at that, as the camera is going to turn off. And Bruce, he doesn't look at a sigh, him bringing his hands up, and thinking, the biggest mistake he ever made was trying to get Izuku to be Robin. Yes, he was a good boy wonder, but taking on that mantle and role, fuck, if he just sent that kid to a military school. That being on Bruce's mind. And with that being said, Deku, he does head over to Barbara Gordon's apartment. As you do actually, however, he does get a knock on the door, and Barbara does get to answer. And Deku, he does try to tell her. He was hoping to catch lunch with her today. Sure. Um, what time? Because you kind of sprung this on me. You know, I do have work. Sure you do. Miss Head of Library, is the library even open today? I don't know. Maybe. I could make an exception. Or you can just come in and we can make something. I can whip something up for you. Uh, no, Barbara. You don't have to do that. Though I am willing to catch coffee. I'm more curious about that lunch you promised. Now, Dakota gonna smile. And Barbara, she doesn't going to tell him. She'll be out in a few minutes. But she's gonna need to talk to someone first. Is he willing to wait outside? Deku, he doesn't tell her. He'll be outside, just text him. Before he does start walking down the hall. And there is where Deku, he does get at least turn to the stairs. Him beginning to walk down as a guy does start to walk up. Deku in a red hoodie, as the man he does get a somewhat shoulder check is in a blue hoodie. And the two do somewhat going to turn to each other. And Deku does try to tell him. Yeah, he should probably watch where he's going. Hmm? I'm fine. How did you get in here? How did I get in here? How did you get in here? I know Barbara. I'm a friend of hers. You're Grayson, aren't you? She's mentioned me? Deku stepping forwards. This is Nightwing. I'm going to throw out his hand. Yeah, she's mentioned you before. Jason Todd. Nightwing going to bring out his hand and shaking Deku's. Grayson. Dick Grayson. Nice to meet you. I know her from therapy. We, well, that's our business, but I've been trying to help her out, and recently we went on a date. We're gonna go out to lunch right now. Oh, um, I needed to talk to her real quick. Do you... No, not at all. Take your time, man. They go turning back. And Grayson, he still is trying to think about the Red Hood. And Deku, he does it a turn away from Grayson. And Jason just goes to stare at him before thinking. No, the Red Hood. His mannerisms were a little different. He didn't walk around with a straight back. He was a little hunched over. And the way he acts, brash, bold, and irrational. That guy, he was nice. Then again, whatever. He's probably planning something right now. Kill the Joker and maybe he's partying. Then again, today's not really a day for celebration, I guess. That being on Dick Grayson's mind. Before he does get a knock on the door, and Barbara does go to answer it. Okay, hold on. I told you I'm getting ready. Hi. Oh, what's up? It's Joker. Did you guys catch him? He's dead. Barbara's looking at Jason. Huh? That being on Barbara's mind. She's. Hold on one second. Her falling backwards and passing out. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.